everybody, and welcome to episode, I did not look this up ahead of time like I should have, 56 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin. I ain't afraid of no ghost. Who's with me tonight?
Stefan JD.
Stuart Hughes.
Busted makes me feel good. It's me, Commander
Damn
Lyle
it.
again.
All right.
I was all ready because I thought for sure Stefan was going to go into it by singing the beginning of the song. I was sure that was going to happen.
I was pulling for none of you to say that so that I could actually say it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said anything.
I still check my bed every night to see if Ray Parker Jr. is underneath there. He's not.
I was going to say, we believe you, Stuart Hughes.
We're ready.
And Lionheart, you want to give your real name?
Emanuel.
Okay.
Just in case, you know.
Not Emanuel Leon Santigo Rodriguez?
Yes.
I said it wrong.
No, you said it right. Don't worry.
See your Facebook enough.
Right for a white guy.
that was good.
I am not going. I did not say that.
He's not wrong.
Oh,
He's not wrong. Okay. And Stefan, do you want to introduce what game you picked out for us this week?
yeah. We're playing the Ghostbusters game that came out recently
On the NES.
with a remaster. It is not the NES game.
Or the Genesis version?
Or the
name?
PS4 reboot game.
It's not a reboot either.
He's talking about the other one.
The 09 game, Ghostbusters, the video game.
The Ghostbusters video game.
The
There are
Ghostbusters
others, but this is the
definitive
official Ghostbusters.
There's-
Actually, I have to say I had a moment of panic earlier this week because as Mike and Stefan know, and maybe Emanuel as well, I was so fucking busy this week. I had like a shitload of crunch I had to do. So I basically didn't sleep from like Sunday to Wednesday. And around like Wednesday night, I legitimately like started panicking because I couldn't remember which Ghostbusters game we were doing. And I looked it up and I was like, oh shit, there's like 17 of them. Fuck, which one did Stefan say we were playing? There was a brief moment of panic, which was totally unnecessary because Mike writes it like 5 times in the comments.
Well,
Okay.
at least
very
you
important.
didn't play the NES one and put yourself through that, Stu.
I almost did. I almost was like, this is the one that Stefan wants to play, right? Because it's like the Friday the 13th game, right?
I mean, he
I
does
wouldn't
like
do that.
bad games. So
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to you guys. That one's really bad.
it looks bad. When I was watching the video about all the different Ghostbusters games, like there's a bunch of games called Ghostbusters all over the place, but we're only talking about one of them.
including this
Oh,
one,
yeah.
because
This
this
is-
is the one that we hopefully play. I hope that we all play. I hope that we all play the same game, y'all, because there is 2 different versions of this game. There is
Yep.
the PS3 360 version, and then there's the PS2 Wii version, which are 2 completely
Well,
different.
that's actually a good brings it to a good question. Which version of this game did everyone play? Did everyone play the original or did everyone play the remake of it?
games.
Or
No,
the
I
remaster of it?
played the original one on PS3. It's the one that I have.
Okay.
The remaster is the one
I was looking it
played.
up. There's
I-
like very little difference, right? Aside from visuals and like one extra scene.
I think that frame
Thanks.
rate is better in the remaster, but that's about it. I also know online achievements or trophies because I don't know if they took out the online in the remaster, but the original had online, which by the time
Really?
that I played the game, which was in 2014 or something for the first time, the servers were already shut down, so you couldn't get those trophies.
Oh no.
So
Yeah.
They're actually
This
going
game's
to
not
patch in the multiplayer for the
No.
remaster. Yeah,
Really?
okay.
Oh,
didn't know
wow.
that.
That's
So
after like how long? The remaster's been out for like 2 years, hasn't it?
No,
Uh,
it's
like-
last year.
2
Actually,
months.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
just last year.
Yeah, it's only been a few months.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
it's
oh yeah,
not
it came
long.
out in October. Duh.
I hope
Yeah,
that you're
that's
not
awesome,
thinking
though.
about the other Ghostbusters PS4 game.
That's 2016.
Yeah.
No, I definitely played the NES one. I was looking up though, like videos of the original game, and I was like, "This." I mean, it looks better, but it doesn't look like that much better. And I don't mean that as like it looks bad. I mean the original game looked really good for 2009.
No, you're right. I think the only thing they didn't really like upgrade was the cutscenes. Other than that, it's just like a upgraded version.
Yeah, and even the original PS3 360 game, I want to say it looks really good. At least the cutscenes, for the most part, it still holds up to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I played the PS4 version just because I was too lazy. I had the PS3 version,
Not good.
but I didn't want to go play on my PS3 because I was just like, you know what? So I just downloaded the PS4 version and played that.
I thought about buying the remastered version, which I probably will eventually, maybe someday. I don't know. But I already had the other one, so I saved myself $20.
Well,
I guess.
you got to get that platinum, Emanuel.
I don't know, man. Maybe now that they've taken out the online trophies, at least.
I got a couple achievements for this game, and I was like, why? Like, I forgot. I always forget when I get an achievement that like they still exist. Like, I understand the point of them still. I understand that people like getting them, but just for me personally, whenever I get an achievement, I'm just like, oh yeah, achievements are still a thing. Totally forgot.
Watch what you're saying to me, boy.
You're talking about achievements, not trophies.
I mean, it's basically
I'm talking about specifically Xbox 360 achievements.
Okay. I forgive you, my friend, because I don't care about achievements.
Which is weird little achievement.
I care about trophies. I don't care about achievements, which is weird, but I don't know. That's how I work.
Oh no, I totally get that. Like, there's this weird thing that happened where, for the longest time, the only thing people cared about was achievements for Xbox. Like, the longest time people were like, I'm going to get this game and I'm going to 100%. I'm going to get all the gamer points. And I think part of it was when Xbox first came out, there was like some news story about the gamer points might be used for like either currency or like they kind of became a status thing.
Yeah.
And then when PlayStation came out with trophies, everyone was like, well, fuck achievements. Trophies is way cooler, even though they're literally the exact same thing. I think the only addition was like they added a special trophy for if you get all the other trophies. I was like, well, fuck this bullshit achievement system. I'm hopping over to the trophy.
For anyone who doesn't know, me and Emanuel are trophy hunters, so I don't know why. We love platinum trophies.
You said the wrong word. It's called trophy whores. Gotta get it right, guys.
No.
No.
I love that. I love that Let's Play group that works for Rooster Teeth. The trophy catchers. That's what. All right.
Sure.
No one know what I'm talking about.
Nope.
No.
Do they bust some trophies?
Rooster Teeth's
with their
Let's Play
packs?
group is called Achievement Hunter. They have Achievement Hunter, so I changed it to Trophy Catcher. It was a joke.
Gotta catch 'em all. Trophy man. I don't know.
that was kind of funny though. Oh, but I should say the original version of this game, the 2009 version, I think some of us played that, some of us played the remastered. It was published by Atari originally and was developed by Terminal Reality. It looks like on here.
Well, actually, that's right. But this wasn't the first game that was being made. There was one being made by a company called Zootfly that had made like a basic demo, and that was the first thing I saw of this game was that Zootfly demo, and I thought that was going to be the game. So when this came out, it looked nothing like that because they hadn't gotten the rights from Sony and just basically wasted their time making a game that they never finished.
And I have to bring something up here because something weird happened with this game, and I don't understand when it happened or what exactly went wrong or what occurred with this. But I swear to God, at some point, Ghostbusters, the video game, was listed as being developed by River Hillsoft. I shit you not. River Hillsoft, the makers of Overblood and other games, was listed as the maker of the Ghostbusters 2009 game.
I could see that.
Interesting. There was a point where I swear to God, this game was listed as being made by River Hillsoft and published by EA. And I was very confused by that because then at some point it changed and I couldn't, I can still find some information saying that River Hillsoft made a Ghostbusters game, but it's unclear if it was this one. And I don't know what's going on. It's I watched history change, and I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy, but now I've got some weird conspiracy theory where they were like, we got to wipe River Hillsoft off the name of this.
I mean, that happened a lot during the PS3 and 360 era. We saw a lot of games that initialized with some studios or being published by some, like EA or Activision or something, and then switched at the middle process or something. So maybe they could have started or had the I don't know. There's some weird shit going on with this game because
at some point, like Infogrames was involved as
what?
Yeah, when they like owned Atari, and so Infogrames was like publishing the game, and then like Activision was developing, or Vivendi was developing it, and then they merged with Activision when Activision became Activision Blizzard, and like all that big merger happened.
Damn,
and so like the development of this game, at least in terms of like who actually did it, is kind of a mystery, and I don't understand where that happened.
That's kind of spooky.
It's strange, kind of odd, and I don't know who to call about it.
The Ghostbusters. That's who you gotta call.
And when you Google River Hillsoft Ghostbusters, nothing comes up. By the way,
no, not anymore. No, it used to be Ghostbusters. It used to be the 2009 game that used to come up because I did it. I swear to God, I Googled River Hillsoft Ghostbusters a long time ago, and it came up with the 2009 Ghostbusters game.
Are you sure that this isn't one of those Bernstein situations, Stu?
I don't.
Well, maybe. I mean, Stu does live in Virginia Beach.
The entire video game industry.
So maybe Stu
reality
is really a warlock, and he went he sees the future.
Interesting. Are you experiencing some paranormal activity at this present moment, Stu, at your house?
We were just talking before the podcast started about how I live about a mile and a half away from where the last witch trial happened. So,
well, don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call the professionals. Games
at my house.
Podcast.
And my house is definitely haunted. It 100% is fucking haunted. I don't care what anybody says. I have people that will not stay in my house anymore because they are convinced it's haunted.
Okay, I got a funny story that I don't know. I never said before this podcast, so I'm going to now. Okay, like I live in an apartment. And at one point, we were wondering, we have a door in our bedroom, and it kept closing, like it would open and close, and people were like, "Oh, it's because the window's open." I'm like, "Okay, window's open, that's the problem." And then we tried the windows closed, still happening. I'm like, "Okay, maybe it's something else." Like, "Oh, the patio, door is open." Nope, that's closed. And then one time, Tiff is recording, she's like, "I wonder if we have a ghost or something." And also the door just slams really loud and opens back up. And it never happened again. Like we've been living here now for over 2 years. Nothing. It just stopped. Like it never happened again. And it was happening like consistently all the time, like a good week or two. It just kept happening, and there was no variables. It would just happen here and there. You start talking about it, we would sit in the room, it just happened. The door would just close, and it was the weirdest thing. And it hasn't happened. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we had a ghost until we pissed them off and they left.
So maybe you had a level 1 spectral apparition.
Yeah.
At the moment that you mentioned the existence, it decided to disappear for its own good.
I actually tried it. I tried to get the ghost hunters came to Virginia Beach once, and they were going to like the Cavalier Hotel, which is like one of the most famous haunted areas in the city, and it's actually been on a couple episodes of like ghost hunters, and like a lot of ghost programs have been there and covered it. It's like a famously haunted hotel here. And when they were in town, I actually like emailed them and tried to get in contact with them to get them to come to my house, because I was like, I just need to know that I'm not insane. Please come here and convince me that I'm not insane. Like I went through everything. Like I would go, I'd close all the vents, I would check all the vents, I'd check all the doors, I'd check everything. I would lock doors at night just in the house, because I would just hear like walking around and like doors would open up, and I'd be like, what the fuck? I know I locked that door, because I was being like, it made me like OCD. I go around, I make sure all the doors were locked, and I made sure like all the lights were off, and I made sure all the TV was off downstairs.
So this is why you got PAL cards for all your doors.
Yeah. I'm convinced my house is haunted though. So.
All right, and before we drag this out too much longer, Stefan, you had something that you wanted to mention about this game before we dive into it?
Oh yeah, so I just wanted to say really quickly that like I grew up with Ghostbusters, and one of the stories that my dad always told me when I was younger was that I would basically do everything they did in the movie. So like if Ray was like sliding down the fire pole, like I would jump off the couch like I was sliding down a fire pole. Like, if they like when Gozer knocks them down, like, are you a god? Like I would fall down with them. So I don't know. I have very good memories of the movies, and that's basically why I put this on the podcast. Is because
there's no Stefan, only Zool.
And I should say there will be spoilers for Ghostbusters movie. I'm positive. And this game is technically the third movie we never got for that.
Yep.
It would have been the trilogy.
Yes.
I mean, you could tell this takes place. What I think want to say 5 years after the first one.
It's 4 years after. on Thanksgiving in 1991. That's what it is.
And it's not like they came in and were like, we're gonna write like our own sequel to this. They actually brought in Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis and had them help like write the game and basically help like direct the entire. Like they worked with like Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, and Bill Murray, and they were like, help us make this game, help us make this script that you have into something.
Basically, yeah, it was like Ghostbusters Go to Hell. Yeah. But one of the interesting, weird freaking facts about this game is that they were actually going to recast Ernie Hudson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were not going to have him in the game, and Bill Murray literally stepped up and said, "If you guys don't hire Ernie, I'm not doing this."
Well, Bill Murray's a fucking saint. I know he also, when like developing this game, he also like in his contract for him being in this game, he said everyone gets equal time to like, because it would have been so easy to make. I mean, just like look at like any like movie or TV show or game that comes out based on a previous franchise. We're just gonna focus on this one character that people seem to think is funny. And Bill Murray had the foresight to be like, no, the reason that Ghostbusters works as a team is because you have the entire team there. That's what makes it enjoyable. And so I was surprised. Like I'd never played this game, and going in, I was like, oh my god, this feels exactly like Ghostbusters should. I was so ready to hate it. I was so ready to be like, oh, great. They're just going to make like the main character is going to be like Bill Murray, and you're only going to hear Bill. Not that there's anything wrong with Peter Venkman, but you're only going to hear Peter Venkman lines the entire time.
Well, that actually wasn't the first time that Ernie Hudson's got the shaft either. He actually auditioned for the voice of his character in the Real Ghostbusters cartoon, and they didn't give it to him then either.
I don't know, because it's like, why? It's no offense to Ernie Hudson, but he's not like, crazy high A-list actor.
Right.
He was like a Marine that just like took up acting and happened to get cast in this amazing movie.
Right.
Oh, fun fact, he lives in Minnesota and I met him once.
Oh, I have met him.
Damn it, Mike. Why didn't you get him for this episode?
Yeah.
I met him in Richmond at GalaxyCon. He's a very, very sweet man.
Nice. He walked to my store where I was working at the time, and I wanted to get a picture with him so damn bad, and he seems nice enough that he'll do it, I've heard. But the guy that I worked for at the time would not have been okay with me pulling out my phone and getting a picture with Ernie Hudson, because he was very we'll go with strict. This is being recorded. I would use other words.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I won't forget that. And I texted my wife, and she's like, "I hate you," because she's a big Ghostbusters fan. And here I'm talking to Ernie Hudson.
Don't hate Mike, hate the guy.
Oh man, I would have pulled out my phone and just been like, "This job's not worth it. Come here, Ernie."
Yeah. Come here, Ernie. Real friendly, real nice. I mean, we were talking to him, and he was telling us how sometimes I run into people like, I think you look familiar, and he's like, you look like that guy, and he's like, I get that. He doesn't even tell him that he is. He just goes, I get that, and walks away.
I think he's got that like I always feel bad saying this, where it's like I don't want to like diminish it, where he's got that perfect level of fame, where I'm not saying like, it's good that he wasn't more successful, but he's got that perfect level of fame where it's like, okay, he played this iconic character, and he has that with him forever.
Right.
And people will always recognize him as this iconic character, which can be bad, but he seems to be like such a sweet man where he's like I'm Winston, like, yay. It's so nice to meet you.
It's kind of like Bruce Campbell in Evil Dead. Like like Ash is his character.
Yeah. Yeah. It's as much as part of him as like the actually being Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
But Ernie Hudson though, can't say enough nice things. Just seems like a very, very sweet man.
I wouldn't. That's cool, but I really want to meet him again at a convention so I can actually get a signature and a picture with him.
I do it for us, Mike.
That's funny because of all the Ghostbusters that I could meet, the one I want to meet the most is Dan Aykroyd, because Dan Aykroyd is fucking insane.
Oh yeah,
Dan Aykroyd. For those who don't know,
Jesus.
By the way, if you haven't seen Ghostbusters, I mean, what the fuck are you doing with your life? I can't even like. We aren't going to explain Ghostbusters to you. You should know what Ghostbusters is.
Yeah.
Like,
I actually watched the movies before today. I watched them all. I watched all three of them, including the bad reboot.
Including the other one. I've never seen it. I want to.
I had never seen the reboot one.
It's incredibly unworth it. But I love how like Bill Murray has just become Bill Murray is kind of like he doesn't give a shit as an actor, which I kind of love. Like I get that he's probably very, very hard to work. I've heard he's very hard to work with because he just gives up on movies. Like you have to when they shot Groundhog's Day, they had to shoot it in a very specific way so that by the end of the movie, when he's like all depressed and wanting to kill himself, that's not acting. That's just Bill Murray being done shooting a movie. that's how Bill Murray is. That's how he acts.
Well,
but then, like of course, Harold Ramis is fucking like he was a genius, rest in peace. But then Dan Aykroyd basically has just become his character from Ghostbusters, where he's just like an insane conspiracy theorist that has his own vodka.
I was gonna ask if you had seen that.
I've had his vodka. It's okay.
Oh my god,
it's okay. The Crystal Head vodka. It's all right. It's all right. It's not bad vodka. It's what I would expect of a multi. It's what I would expect of a multi-millionaire who's completely insane. Where I'm like, yeah, like if anyone just wants to feel better about themselves, just watch an interview of like Dan Aykroyd and just feel so bad for the person interviewing him, where he will just like, they'll ask him a very basic question and he will go off on these insane rants about alien invasions and how like the lizard people are taking over. And it's not like Alex Jones, like angry conspiracy theories. It's like he's tapped into this and he's so excited to tell everybody else about it.
Yeah. He was recently on Joe Rogan, and I was like, what is this interview? Because he was just going off on crazy alien shit. And Joe Rogan was like, Dan, you sound fucking insane. I don't believe any of this. I'm like, what is this? This isn't even an interview. It's just two people arguing.
All right.
Within 5 minutes, he's telling everybody to like check all these like obscure websites that he knows about and like that he like partially owns. He's like, check the websites. They're out there. The evidence is out there. Check like didn't he have like DanAykroyd.com or something for a long time? And it was like just this weird conspiracy theory site. It was just like pictures of UFOs and like Bigfoot and shit.
Yes,
oh,
I
man.
remember that.
I want to meet Dan Aykroyd so badly just so I can be like, hey man, I believe too, and just like watch him go insane. I
never knew Crystal Head vodka was his. I used to see it when I worked at a liquor store a long time ago.
Yeah, it's okay.
I would recommend no one else on this planet crazy enough to do that except for him.
Yeah. Of course, he has his own vodka brand. Of course, he does. A Crystal Head, dude, named after the fucking aliens.
Mike, you have got to see his video explaining the goddamn vodka. Because he goes on and on about, and we found this on the plains of, I don't know, some places in South America or something, where the crystal skull thing of Indiana Jones and all that shit.
Yeah, I know the whole
on and on and on and on about
story.
that.
He actually, he made it at the same time as Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of Crystal Skull was coming out. And he called Steven Spielberg because he was worried that Steven Spielberg was like gonna sue him over it. And Steven Spielberg offered to have Crystal Head vodka served at the premiere of the movie. That's a real thing that happened.
Wow.
People just like, God bless Steven Spielberg for just recognizing this very specific brand of crazy and promoting it. Just being like, yeah, he's not hurting anybody. He's just insane and it's hilarious. Let's just throw it out there.
All right, two things. One thing I want to say before we actually talk about the game, that because watching the movies that made us, they talk about Ghostbusters, and I didn't know this until that his family was all involved in the paranormal, and that's why he wrote this comedy. Is kind of based on his life,
right?
In a way.
That makes sense.
But it was supposed to take place in like different dimensions, and they were supposed to like be hopping through trying to chase ghosts that way. It wasn't as grounded as it came out to be. That's where Harold Ramis came in and made it more. Yeah.
Well, the original movie is, and yeah, again, apologies to the audience. We're going to talk about the movie because it's probably like one of the. I would say it's one of the best movies ever made.
Yep.
Yeah. I think without a doubt. And 100%. Like that, it's just such like, it's like the purest example of lightning in a bottle of just everything came together perfectly to make this like, it was going to be this insane story. But then, Ramis came in and was like, hey, let's ground this a little bit and just set it in New York. And we'll set it in like the city streets and in the sewers and in the subway station and just make it a little more like closer to home. And just everything came together perfectly to make it the best thing ever.
It's so weird too, because originally it was supposed to be John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
But John Belushi died, so then they asked John Candy to be in it, and he wanted to have like 2 Rottweilers on the set with him in every scene or something. Yeah. So then they were like, no, that's not going to work out.
which I'm glad because that would have been weird, but it would have definitely made the movie worse. But don't you kind of want to see that version of the movie where John Candy just has 2 Rottweilers with him the entire time?
It seems weird.
Just like if you want the best example of kind of what happened here was we had Harold Ramis, who was like, he did like Groundhog Day. Like that's probably like the go-to movie, Groundhog Day, which is a weird movie, but it's very realistic. Everything that's happening in it, you're on board with immediately. He's living the same day. I understand. My belief is suspended. I'm with you 100%. And then you look at like Dan Aykroyd, whose other work is like Nothing But Trouble, which is the weirdest fucking movie you'll ever see. It makes no sense. It has John Candy in it as like a weird like sheriff that is like half Deliverance, half insane, half like it's unbelievably odd.
Yeah. Apparently Chevy Chase was a dick to him on that movie too.
But Chevy Chase is apparently just a dick in real life.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. I think once you star in Christmas Vacation and Holiday Vacation, or Christmas Vacation and National Lampoon's Vacation, you're kind of allowed to be a dick, I think. I don't know. I feel like Chevy Chase is one of those actors where if you find out that he was like, he's just, because he never seems like he berates people so much as he's just an asshole. Where he's like, for Community, he would just go around being like, this writing is shit. You're a shit writer. Like, this is bad. This is a dumb joke. I don't like this. I'm not going to say this, which is terrible for like to work with. But it's Chevy Chase. Like, the dude kind of knows comedy.
Yeah.
You have to be like, okay, yeah, he's an asshole, but he's still Chevy Chase.
That's true.
All right. I think but I do want to, since it's almost been half an hour we've been doing this.
Yeah.
One thing about this game is that it puts you not as any of the actual characters from the movie, but you're the rookie who joined the team, which I thought was
rookie.
I thought was really cool. Like I thought it's cool. They found a way to fit you into the game and just be some random guy who's trying out for the Ghostbusters, even without you having to play any of the other characters. And even then, most of the game they're around you all the time, which I also like, because then you have it where they can revive you and they're involved.
Yeah. Yeah, you never play as the rookie alone. You always have someone.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Well, there are a couple moments where you are alone.
I mean, I know, but for the most part,
Well, those are like some of those are like the actual horror segments, because this game actually does have horror and it does kind of do it effectively.
Oh yeah, I agree.
This game is the best version of Dead Space. That's what this game is.
Oh God. You.
No, it is. I think this game is the best version of Dead Space. I think this game it's Dead Space, but it has like so much more going on. Where Dead Space is like a great game, it's a horror game. It's specifically a horror game. Like you could argue it's a horror / mystery, but like it's a survival horror. You just got to get out. Whereas Ghostbusters is like, okay, this is like the horror section of the game, and it's actually creepy and it actually is unsettling. Because you're like completely alone, and oh yeah, these are actual ghosts that are going to kill you or that are like actively trying to hurt you.
I disagree, but I also want to say this is a third-person action game.
Yes.
So for those that aren't, that's how this game plays, and it handles well. Like you have the different blasters, your proton pack, and you get a few different enhancements. I never used them.
Like Dead Space, you have all of your information on the back of your fucking proton pack, which. By the way, fucking Dead Space ripped off Ghostbusters.
What year did Dead Space come out?
Dead Space came out in 2000. Oh, well, I guess Dead Space came out in 2008. So it was in development at the same time. This game was in development first, and it came out. It came out later. So this came out in 2009.
Yeah, it came out in 2009, but then development started when? 2006.
Some say 2006, some say like 2004. There's a lot of mixed information there.
Okay.
Because it transferred over to a couple other companies, like I said.
Yeah.
A lot of people say 2006, but I don't want to get all conspiracy theory about it, but I'm convinced that this game was being worked on by other companies before 2006.
Embrace your inner Dan Aykroyd.
I'm becoming Dan Aykroyd. Just by the end of this episode, I'm like, drink vodka. The aliens are coming.
Okay, the other thing I want to say is that they do a really good job of getting all the actors, the models, to look like they would in 1991.
Yeah,
like they find a way to bring in so many people. Like you have, I can't remember her name, the secretary in early on. Yeah, she plays just herself just fine. Like you go to so many areas from the movie too, and they found a way to work it in. Like it's really too bad this wasn't a movie, but it's there's some cool parts. Like even the intro wasn't bad when you have the tutorial mission where you're running around in the basement of the firehouse trying to catch Slimer. Like I think it was Slimer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Slimer as like the kind of mascot of the series is just kind of like flying around the whole time. Fucking Vigo is in this game.
Yeah.
The Carpathian is just in your Ghostbusters hangout.
You talking about the painting?
Yeah.
Yeah, the painting.
Yeah, it's just there.
I do have a question about that though, because again, I saw both movies earlier today, and at the end of Ghostbusters 2, that painting turns into the Ghostbusters and not Vigo.
Yeah.
So is that like a continuity error or something?
It's probably just a fun little thing they wanted to do, but I think a lot of people don't know that guy who plays Vigo, he is a boxer like from some other place, but he was actually overdubbed by Max von Sydow, who played Ming and Father Karras. But the guy who actually played Vigo, there's a whole video on him on YouTube. He's actually a really bad person.
Oh, is he really?
He's done some seriously heinous shit.
I mean, when you look like Vigo, though, like that's not... It's like when all those stories came out of like just recently of not to date this episode, but since Gritty just got in trouble for hitting a kid, everyone was like kind of joking about it. And I was like, I mean, come on, like when you look like Gritty, like hitting a kid is kind of expected.
Is Gritty the mascot you're talking about for that?
Yeah, the Flyers mascot, the giant orange abomination that exists. That people like more because of the child assault. People like him more because of it now. Like that's not even a joke.
He learned from Anakin Skywalker to you know take care of the younglings.
But fucking,
and then, like even the
shows up and he's just in your God, what the fuck is the name of the Ghostbusters fire station now? There's like a special name for it.
I don't know.
Ladder or something? I forgot.
Ladder 49?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah.
But he's just like
I pulled it out of my ass, but
and he just mocks you. Like you go up and say hi to him and he just mocks you in like weird like old English sayings the entire time.
You can talk to the painting?
Yeah.
You can interact with a lot of things in the firehouse.
I didn't know that.
Hook and Ladder Company is the building.
Personally, I didn't do it in this playthrough. I did it the first time that I played the game, but in this playthrough, I was just like, we gotta get to the mission. I don't have time to interact with anything.
Wait, Mike, isn't Ladder 49 a movie, you liar?
I don't know. I just pulled it out of my ass.
49 is a movie, now that I think about it.
Yeah, Ladder 49 is a movie about 9/11, isn't it?
I don't know.
I want to say I liked the idea of playing as a fresh character this time around more than I did the first time that I played the game. Like the first time that I played it, I was so against the idea of playing as an original character or as a silent protagonist or whatever, because I wanted the game to be literally the third movie, and I was like, this character is not going to exist in a third movie. So I had to take that out of my mind for this time, and I liked it more this time around.
Yeah, we should say that the Ghostbusters themselves are now contractors to the city. So if anything they damage, the city now has to pay for it, which is part of the game, actually. It shows you how much money is racking up every time you damage something.
Yep.
Yeah. Kind of a scoring system.
And there's actually 2 trophies for that. One where you have to do low, where you can't do too much property damage, and one where you have to do like an insane amount of property damage.
You know
I was blasting everything. I was writing my name on the side of fucking walls. Look, you put a proton pack in my fucking hand, I am going crazy with that thing.
I mean, it's in the game. It's pretty sweet that you can actually just write up the walls and just you can see the damage stay there for some time.
I was trying to think about, because like I said, I went into this game blind. I had never played it before. And what going into it, I was like, I wonder how they're going to do it, because I always knew this game existed, but I never looked into it. I never like made an effort to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I wonder how they're going to do it, because in my mind there'd be two ways. You'd either play as Winston, or you'd have to play as a new character. And I was like, if they add a new character, it'll throw off the dynamic.
But they didn't, because they made him silent. It didn't throw off the dynamic because they made him silent. So they just kept the same essence as in the movies, basically.
Because like the whole first movie, it's you got your like you kind of have like your team of three for a while. You've got Venkman, you've got Igor. I always called him Igor. You got Egon. You got Ray.
Father.
And then like Winston shows up, and Winston's kind of like the everyman that is like he brings the team together, but he's the audience insert character, where he's just like he doesn't really have any skills. Like everybody else has a very specific skill. He's like the everyman. You're supposed to be Winston in terms of that movie.
Well, I think the comic books did him justice in that later on, as they had to write more and more stories, he finally got a degree in parapsychology or something.
Yeah. I mean, even in like the second movie, he is like much more of a authority on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like holding the team together when they're fighting. He's one of the ones that's like, what are we doing, guys? Like we're beating the shit out of each other. Like Winston becomes like the glue that holds everyone together.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he's the Hawkeye, but he's way better than Hawkeye.
Hey, don't you be disrespecting my boy Hawkeye, man.
But all right, but even like
he's the comic book Hawkeye rather than the Marvel Cinematic Universe Hawkeye.
Okay, I can kind of forgive you there.
I was like, I wonder if you're going to play as Winston, or if you're going to play as a different person, or if you're just going to play as a person and like the other Ghostbusters will be like giving you assignments and you don't actually see that much of them. But I was surprised. It's like, you're this kind of unnamed rookie. And
no, you are called rookie. Literally.
Yeah. Everybody. I love that everyone calls you something different. Like Egon calls you rookie. Venkman what does Venkman call you? He calls you like the newbie or something, and
the new guy, the
new guy, and then Dan Aykroyd, fucking Ray, just calls you a young blood the entire time, which is so weird, but so perfectly Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, sounds like it.
It's like, hey, come on, young blood. It's like something about that is wrong, and I don't know what about it is wrong, but something about it is it's just not quite right.
One of the writers was like a Rob Liefeld fan.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love that Winston is like he goes back and forth on not liking you and pretending to be your best friend the entire time. He's like, I don't know how I feel about this doobie. And then by the end of the game, he's like, I always liked you. You were my favorite. I just never told you.
Yeah, when you rescue him. Wait, I shouldn't say that. We're going to talk about that later on.
Maybe.
Go on. Yeah, maybe if we remember.
We'll get there. There's a lot going on in this game.
Oh, man.
I do want to mention, like, one thing that was cool, like, even the first real level in this game, you go back to Hotel Sedgwick. I know I wrote it wrong in the outline.
Yes. Yes. The Sedgwick Hotel.
And I thought that was really cool that you got to go back to an old place from the movie and you're running around trying to catch Slimer. And there's a scene that cracked me up still. I mean, one, they find a way to connect it with the overall story where you have this girl who's there who's running out of the hotel, and they find a way to connect that later on in the story. But the other thing that was hilarious is you have there's a bar mitzvah. They're like, you can't go in here. There's a bar mitzvah for whoever the fuck it is.
They don't say who it is. They just say there's a bar mitzvah. And it's very important. And it's going to start in 15 minutes. So you can't go in. It's very important.
I destroyed everything on purpose just because. I'm like, I hate you.
Yeah. I think there's a trophy too to destroy the ham or something on the table in there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Because you can't drink, you can't have meat at a bar mitzvah or something.
Is it weird how you guys know what trophies are in these games? Huh.
Weird. Weird, I know, right?
Well, I did platinum it, so.
I know. That's the other joke.
But I like that. I like that start because it was like, okay, we need to ground this to like the Ghostbusters story. So you're going back to the Sedgwick Hotel to catch Slimer. And at first I was like, oh no, it's just going to be a retread. But then like enough different things started happening where you're like, oh no, this is a different story. It's like something else is going on here. Like the introduction of this new character, and immediately like you fight the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man again. And I was like, oh, are they just going through the entire first movie?
Right after this.
Yeah, they go through the entire first movie minus the Zool stuff and Gatekeeper stuff. And they kill the fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And it's like, okay, now the game starts. Like, the game starts with literally killing the bad guy from the first movie.
I mean, that level it's freaking awesome. Like, you're running around the street,
cool.
kicking cars at you, you're climbing a building, and the final fight with the Stay Puft Man is they throw you off the building, and you're hanging there shooting his face as he's trying to climb up the building. Like, it is a great scene, and it is so much fun.
Crazy. Yep. It's so much more than I would expect from a Ghostbusters video game, where I'm like, I was in it and I was like, oh my God, like they're playing with scale. They're playing with like the environment. I'm on like, suddenly I'm facing down and the environment has completely changed. I'm standing on a building and the Stay Puft Marshmallow. I'm like, holy shit, like we're fucking doing this.
Yeah, actually, it's definitely like a greatest hits of the Ghostbusters. Yeah.
They've got to do all that so that they can kill the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and say, okay, now we're jumping into what we want to do, and it's going to be completely different, and it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's that tease to say, like, this is still Ghostbusters. Don't worry. We're still Ghostbusters.
Well, the other thing is that we didn't mention, like, when the game first starts off, you see they're having a Gozer exhibit at the museum.
Yeah.
And
entire Gozer exhibit.
And something happens and everything kind of like, has like a big psychological burst, let's say. And I thought they did a great job of trying to really connect the first movie and this movie with everything with Gozer and that whole idea of where the architect and the god and everything like that.
The
second movie too with the slime. They bring it all back. Like,
yep,
they take the world that they have and they use it all to its greatest effect. Like, this exists in this universe, so we're gonna find a way to make it make sense, and it all does. Everything makes sense.
Like, even the library part was just a fun freaking level too. Like, I love how they're going back to the library, and one of their big concerns is to get what is her name?
The Gray Lady.
The Gray Lady. Who
they
only want to get because Ray has this like hard on for catching her because she shushed him. I love that.
Yeah, they keep and throughout the whole level. It's like, they shush me again. She shushed me again.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
There's a great part where they're on the verge of catching her, and she turns around and shushes Ray, and it's just like all hell breaks loose because he just can't handle being shushed. It's like, oh, we're doing this. The line that got me, because there's a line very early on where I was reticent about the game still. I was like, okay, like, this is good so far, but I'm still cautious about it. And there's a line where they go into the hotel and Ray is complaining about how they just cleared this hotel 5 years ago. Why are there so many more ghosts in it all of a sudden? And Egon says so matter-of-factly in the perfect Harold Ramis way where he's like, people die every day, Ray. It's just like, okay, I'm on board. That's it. That made me laugh so hard. I am so into this now. Like, that's the line that got me. People die every day, right?
that was funny.
Just like, oh, yeah. Like, he's like, so it's so matter of fact that he has nothing to say. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's just like, okay, yeah, we're doing it. This is Ghostbusters, like pure Ghostbusters writing. Like, this is, because I actually read the script that Stefan mentioned earlier too. Which, if you're a fan of Ghostbusters, at some point you've probably heard about this. Not a lot of people, I think, have read it, but it's just called Ghostbusters Go to Hell, right?
Yeah.
And it's just this game is just adapting that script to a game, and it's perfect. It's great.
Mm-hmm. It's basically what happens.
It almost made me think, after playing this game, we didn't need that third movie because this easily takes its place.
Yeah.
It easily exists in that hole that was left.
They even bring back a lot of old characters too, like Walter Peck, and for some reason Bill Murray's brother is like now the mayor.
Oh God, yeah, I love it.
That was Bill Murray's brother?
Yeah.
In the first movie?
Yeah.
Or in real life?
No.
I didn't know that.
No, not in the first movie. There's a different mayor in the game than the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't that the guy that plays the mayor in this game was the same guy in Wayne's World, right? That's
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's kind of like the
Noah's Arcade. Yeah.
Yeah. If you need, like, he was like, there were two actors that filled that, or three actors that filled that role. If you needed a skinny guy with a weird voice, you went with like Pee Wee Herman or like Pauly Shore. If you needed a fat guy with a weird voice, you went with this guy. What was his name?
I forget his name. It's something so regular.
I'm trying to look it up now as I'm talking about it. You go with this guy, and if you need the in between, you go with like Bobcat Goldthwait. It's like there were like 3 actors that filled those roles. It's like, yep, they're like, if it's the 80s and you need an actor with a weird voice, you go with one of these 3 people. That's it.
Yep.
Occasionally you have Gilbert Gottfried if he wasn't doing commercials and shit.
What an asshole.
Fuck, what was that guy's name?
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
Looking it up right now.
Okay, while you're looking it up,
talk over me. Was it David Margulis? No, it was a different actor in the first movie. Yeah, keep going. Talk over me. I'll look it up.
All right, first, since we did kind of blow over the first level, I do want to mention that Fisherman Boss was kind of like, I had to like that, where he destroys one of the stairwells as you're chasing after him, like that, and you have the water just kind of happening all over the hotel from what the ghost is doing. That was a fun fight.
It's his name's Brian Doyle. That's right. Brian Doyle Murray.
David Margulis played the Mayor Lenny Crotch, which Bill Murray called him Jock for some reason. Hey, what's up, Jock?
All right. But as I mentioned,
I love that he's like the hard ass mayor. He loves them so much. That's one of my favorite things about Ghostbusters, that the mayor is like so on board with say immediately. He's just like, yes, I believe you. There are ghosts. You're fighting them. I'm going to give you all the permits you need. Fucking do it. Go save the city.
Yeah, which creates a nice little dynamic between them and Walter Peck, because he kind of has to oversee them. Yeah. And they have to work together. Otherwise, they're all going to be fired.
Well, I love that in the movie, Walter Peck, I mean, in the game too, Walter Peck works for the FDA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So he is a federal agent for the FDA. And David Margulis is Mayor Lenny Crotch. He's the mayor of New York. So he's not like he's just the mayor. He's the mayor of the city. And yet for some reason he can like overturn anything this federal agent says about these very strict federal guidelines for safety.
I mean, it's New York. Come on.
Like the FDA comes in and says like, this is illegal. This needs to happen. Here are the strict guidelines to running a nuclear reactor. The mayor could not step in and be like, nah, fuck you guys. We're going to build a nuclear reactor on 8th Street. Fuck it. If it blows up, it blows up. Who cares?
Yeah, you know what really happened to the actor who played Walter Peck, though? When the movie came out, people would like yell at him in the streets and like chase after him to try and beat him up.
It's like the Joffrey effect.
Yeah.
He's so good at playing such a piece of shit character that people can't like disconnect him from that character.
Yeah.
I love that like the actor who played Joffrey, just like he's like, I'm not gonna act anymore. I'm just gonna go to college. Like I'm done. I played a character that everybody hated for the rest of my life. People will know me as this character, so I'm good.
Is that what happened?
I don't know. He just stopped. He was like, all right, I'm going to college.
Damn.
It's just like he just walked off the set of Game of Thrones. I mean, obviously he couldn't hang around after he fucking died, but it was just like, yeah, going to college.
But yeah, as you were saying, Mike, basically when you fight the fisherman in the Sedgwick Hotel, the world kind of changes almost like Silent Hill a little bit.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I love all the little things they do. Like there's a surprising amount of little touches that just make everything feel so like connected and immersive. Like you'll be going through the library and just books are flying off shelves and like doors are flying open and filing cabinets are flying open and like throwing papers everywhere. Just like little touches just make it all work really well.
But also the libraries, when they really start to kind of pull the story into what's happening. Yeah. Like you're chasing after the gray lady and you're fighting all these different things. Like there's one part you go in the kids section in the library and you just hear the kids laughing. That just creeped the hell out of me in that part. But when you finally get to the gray lady, when you're going through it, you find out that she was murdered by an occultist or someone that was involved.
The collector.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the collector was involved with the architect from the first movie, correct?
He was involved with. He was a Gozer worshipper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of setting him up at this point as like the biggest bad. Like he's the one who's kind of like been behind the scenes of a lot of stuff, which I love how they do that too, because it's you have Ernie in the background. Ernie, I'm just gonna yell on Ernie. You have Winston in the background who's like you're with, like you keep running across typically how this game goes is you run across 3 of the Ghostbusters and a 4th Ghostbuster will give you advice. Like he'll be the oversight on the mission. Like they'll be in some control room or they'll be in some area where they can't connect with you, but they can give you like hints. So you'll have a 4-man team and one person directing you. Mm-hmm. And during this scene, you've got like Ray and Egon and Venkman all running around with you. And I love that Winston is like he's like taking time and he's like, I'm too old to like chase around all these ghosts. I'm just gonna go through all these old periodicals in this library. And like while he's doing it, he's like, hey, I keep finding all this stuff about the Collector. Like that might be something interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, Winston's like actually doing shit. He's actually researching and solving all these problems. I love that.
Yeah. And that's the first time in the game too, I think, where you get separated from everyone because all the bookshelves move to kind of make a maze to where you're by yourself finally.
Yeah.
And I love the lights go out. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Like that's when the game gets like genuinely scary for a bit.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, this is like you're going through this library and just like, this is supposed to be a comedy. What's happening? I'm not laughing, Ghostbusters.
I hated that boss fight with the gray lady too. When you have
what's going on
after you get to where like she was murdered and you find the cult book and and you're fighting her and you have these books that are rotating around her that are projecting the shield. God, that part was like I would have died on any hard difficulty than casual.
Mm-hmm. That fight is not great.
Okay, so it wasn't just me that hated it then. That's
no. It goes on for a little bit too long with the whole having to destroy multiple times those stupid books that keep rotating. And again,
they're hard to hit.
Just like you, I played it on casual. I played it on normal the first time that I played it. This time I was like, nah, I'll just put it on casual.
I don't got time.
Try playing it on hard.
I thought about it.
There a trophy for that?
Yes, there is a trophy for beating it on the highest difficulty, I think.
I thought about pumping it up, but I was just so fucking tired this week. I was like, I'm just going to play a fun little casual game. And then I didn't realize I'd be playing like a full fucking game.
Oh.
Because this is, what is this, like a good, like, what'd you say, like 10-hour game, really?
No.
Yeah.
Like 6 to 8.
You think 6 to 8? I'd say 7 to 10 personally.
Yeah, I think it's like around 8. I think that
I'd
8
say
kind of.
You could get it done in like 5 or 6 if you were really going for it. But
I was.
Well, yeah, but there's like, you also had a walkthrough, I imagine, right?
Oh, well, not really. Not very often. I just had no time this week, and I had like one day to play this game, so all I do is play this game.
They just burn through it. Yeah, I'm like, I would say I tried to play through it fairly quickly because I had to put it off for so late, but I mean, I still took a little time and was like, I'm gonna go like around and explore a little bit, and so. I mean, if you play this game like a normal game, you take your time, you walk around, explore. I'd say it could be a 10-hour game, easy.
Okay.
Because there's like a lot to kind of. It's not really open world. It's pretty linear, but it's got like the whole hub world of the Ghostbusters HQ, and there's like a lot going on that you can kind of go experience. Like there's collectibles in all the levels of like. I like one of the collectibles just like random telephone. And then it gives you like a little like tidbit about it. It's like legends say like anybody who receives a call on this telephone will die shortly after. And it's like, well, why is that in the fucking hotel lobby then?
I was collecting them up until I got to a point when I got all the money to upgrade all the packs, and I was like, okay, I was fucking done. I didn't care about killing things. I didn't care about artifacts. I'm like, just get me to the end of this game now. I got the trophy.
I love any game where you upgrade your character and it changes the way your character looks. And this game fucking does that. Every time you upgrade that proton pack, it adds like a little extra bell and whistle on there. And
I didn't catch that.
It's just like, little extra flashing lights, or like they'll throw like a little bit of tubing on the side. It's great.
What's great. Even more better is that if you beat it on professional difficulty, they give you the black jumpsuit and a gold proton pack.
Ooh. Damn. Looks like I'll be beating this game on professional difficulty.
Oh boy.
It's infinite proton ammo. I liked I jokingly said this is the best Dead Space game, but for a while there I thought this is the best fishing game ever made because it plays like a fishing game.
Yeah, it does.
You throw every ghost you catch. I finally got to feel like a Ghostbuster. I felt exactly like how a Ghostbuster should feel. You throw the trap on the ground and you have to wrangle the ghost into the trap, and it's like, yes, this is perfect. This makes sense. This is exactly how it feels to be a Ghostbuster. I'm involved. Yes, I'm so happy.
I wonder, did this game have the like many other games, like Become the Batman, Become the Spider-Man? Did this have the whole Become the Ghostbuster thing marketing ploy or not?
I don't think so. This game kind of didn't have any marketing from what I remember.
know. I was gonna ask earlier, did this game even sell well back when it released? Because I don't remember.
It sold 3 million copies.
Okay, so pretty good.
So it's pretty.
I don't remember. I remember seeing I found one commercial for it, but I remember when this game came out that it came out and I was surprised that I didn't really hear much about it beforehand. Like it reviewed pretty well. It reviewed 8.5s.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's weird. Like, I really should. I'm surprised that it's not kind of talked about more, or I didn't hear more about it after it was released. It's a pretty solid game.
It is back in those times when licensed games are still not completely, people tend to gravitate towards them because it's the same year that Batman Arkham Asylum also came out, and that initially people were skeptical of that as well. So
I had to wonder about that. Like, did Activision not have quite enough faith in the game? And they were also going through their merger, so I wonder if it just kind of fell through the cracks a little bit. I remember I have an issue of Game Informer with this game in it. I remember reading about it.
Yeah,
and being like, oh, that sounds cool. I should play that. But I think I saw one other commercial, and it kind of flew under the radar. It wasn't Call of Duty where there was a commercial on every 5 fucking seconds.
Oh, of course.
Oh man.
No, I mean the Call of Duty commercials are usually pretty cool, but it's I'm surprised that the game didn't get higher marketing. I have to wonder if Activision was like, well, it says Ghostbusters on it. People buy it because it says Ghostbusters, and they did. So maybe they were right.
Yeah, the name sold itself.
Maybe. It's like
Atari, not Activision.
If we put a box on the shelf and the box says Ghostbusters, people will buy it no matter what.
Yep.
Okay.
I wouldn't go that far, but we were talking about earlier with the library. No. After you beat the Great Lake, when you go to that alternate dimension, that was I didn't like it, but it was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's the ghost world. That's basically supposed to be like hell. That's why it was Ghostbusters Go to Hell. But yeah, you acquire the Gozerian Codex.
Yes.
And that boss fight was just stupid against Alistor or something I wrote down on here.
Aletzor.
Azetlor.
Excelsior. I don't know.
Excelsior.
The collector.
Excelsior, Spider-Man.
I didn't like that fight. It was annoying. You had to pull the mask off him or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like... It sounds odd to say this because I really did love this game, but the boss fights were the weakest aspect.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that for everything that this game does well, the boss fights are the only thing that they're not great.
Yeah,
this was the hardest boss on professional difficulty. You literally have to use those portals in that room, otherwise you're not gonna beat them. Yeah,
I never used those portals on casual. So
casual, you just stand there.
See, I love the Hell World just because I liked any new area because I just liked hearing all the Ghostbusters react to it and talk to each other. That was the best part of the game. Definitely the highest strength the game has is all the Ghostbusters are in it, and it's just being with them in this different area. So you go to Hell World and immediately Ray is super excited about studying it, and Egon's like, "Oh, interesting." And Venkman's like, I wonder if there's any girls here. And Winston's the only one freaking out. He's the only one panicking about how they're in hell.
The only normal one.
Yeah.
So.
Winston's I say he's the everyman, but he's so much more than that. He's the only human being in a group of complete lunatics. He has to ground everybody. And he's like, why are we in hell? What's going on? We're going to die. And everyone else is just like, I can't wait to study this. Interesting.
But I did like how they did take that thread from the first movie, they wrap it up, and they make it work. This did feel like the end of a trilogy where they're wrapping up the what happened in the first one.
Yeah,
and also even when you go back, because then you go to the history museum where everything is happening, and I really did enjoy that level.
Yeah, they're basically following Mandalan nodes, which are going to open up the ghost world and merge it into the human world is what it is.
It's you know what it is? It's literally the plot of the Super Mario Brothers movie.
It is.
They're trying to merge the worlds. They're trying to merge both New Yorks. It's the same plot.
That makes sense.
Remember when Venkman was like he needed Koopa coins?
Yeah.
Shut up. No. Keep going.
No,
Like,
both of you.
go.
You guys don't remember that?
No.
Well,
They never made a Mario movie yet. Never happened.
Well, I remember also when Winston was driving the Ecto-1 and he saw a bomb. I'm just saying that was my favorite scene.
That's the best scene in the Super Mario Bros. Movie with that bomb and people just
as I was
flying off
saying,
the fucking road.
And you go inside the museum. I really enjoy that level.
Talking about that, it's worth mentioning. Like I played the shitload out of like Luigi's Mansion when that game came out because to me that was like the best Ghostbusters game that I could have had. So I was like, oh yeah, this is like the closest I'll get to a Ghostbusters game, not realizing that there was a Ghostbusters game that was awesome.
I mean, when you think about it, Luigi's Mansion was inspired kind of by Ghostbusters, the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
This game was inspired by Luigi's Mansion, so it all comes back full circle.
It's like the Tomb Raider Uncharted thing, where Uncharted took inspiration from Tomb Raider, which in turn took inspiration from Uncharted, and now Uncharted is trying to be more like Tomb Raider. It's just like back and forth constantly.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Like I'm so glad that everyone knows that reference.
Also, Luigi's Mansion 3 plays a lot like this game.
Yeah.
Like with the whole slamming mechanic and all that.
Kinda. There's no Gooigi.
No.
Yeah. I mean, technically, you could say that you are the Gooigi of the Ghostbuster because you don't talk.
Luigi's Mansion is a little bit more brutal in that Luigi fucking gets killed immediately, doesn't he? Oh no, I'm thinking of Super Smash Bros.
You're thinking of the Smash Brothers cover. So,
but Nintendo is like harder than fucking Ghostbusters. Like, we're just gonna fucking kill Luigi now. He's a ghost, motherfucker. What are you gonna do? Like Ghostbusters Afterlife, Paul Rudd has to die, right? Like that's the only way for them to come back at that. They have to kill Paul Rudd, and he has to be a ghost, like Frightener style, and help solve the mysteries.
For all of you people listening, and you have never played this game, just think about Luigi's Mansion, and it's basically that, but less cartoonish.
What if instead of Luigi doing his like "Wah!" like every 5 minutes, it was just Peter Venkman snapping jokes at Egon?
Egon, hey, Egon.
Is anybody else a little shocked at how?
Egad. Oh fuck!
So as I was saying,
can you tell I practiced my Luigi noises?
Yes.
No.
Mario. Humpy. The best function in that first Luigi's Mansion is the humping.
Oh yeah. That's my
mechanic.
go-to noise. That's the wah. That's him humping the dressers.
Yep.
Anyways, keep going, Mike.
okay. So as we were going through the museum, that was probably one of my favorite levels. Like I like the part when you're going through, like you go through the Egypt exhibit, and Winston's like, I was living here at one point when I was writing my thesis, or something of that nature. And then there's also a part when you go through and you have the Civil War ghost. Like I'm a big history buff, so I was real happy during that part.
Yeah, that part was real good.
I really enjoyed that level. Like I had a lot of fun playing through the museum just as it was. I didn't really, and plus I like how you have the whole time you're chasing after this ghost that kidnapped the girl, which worked out well for the story that you're trying to rescue this entire time.
We haven't mentioned her. Her name's Dr. Alessa Selwyn, I think. And she's voiced by, who's that chick from Charmed? What's her name?
Alyssa Milano?
Yeah.
That's Alyssa Milano's voice?
Yeah, so what happened was Sigourney Weaver was supposed to come back, and she couldn't when they wanted her, so they hired Alyssa Milano. And then as soon as they hired her, Sigourney Weaver was like, okay, I'm free now. And they're like, well, we already hired Alyssa Milano. So, sorry.
But I think if it was for the better, because otherwise having like Sigourney Weaver's character being again the center of this whole thing would have been like too obvious. Like in the first movie, it was her. In the second movie, it was the baby. So
it kind of would have tied it up in that Dr. Selwyn is an ancestor of Shandor. So I mean, it kind of would have made sense why she's always getting attacked. But
I'm okay that it was someone completely different. Like that's kind of interesting to know that they did try to get Sigourney, and this is what happened.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I was wondering why she didn't appear in the game. I think that also Rick Moranis, he's not in the game either.
But he doesn't
Yeah.
act anyway.
I
still
know that he doesn't
tired.
act, but they could have tried to at least put something of him.
That's him. More,
Dark-
he just doesn't want anything to do with that world anymore.
Come on, we need a dark helmet.
Also, like even just like I felt that it did a good job of really adding a lot of stories. You're running around the museum. You have the part where you go down below into the sewer system and you see all that slime, which is a reference to the second movie, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's black
supposed to be.
slime this time. Yeah.
Okay, I vaguely remember the second movie. It's been a long ass time.
I watched
But
it.
Even that boss fight was kind of fun too when you finally get to where all the slime is being like kind of pumped around and you fight the chairman who was part of the cult who was involved with the architect. Like I thought that was just super interesting to me. Everything was just really cool with that.
Yeah. I think the whole set piece of the museum was simply just there to have like a variety of ghosts, like the Civil War ghosts and like the indigenous ghosts or whatever. But I did you stop and listen to the Civil War things, the little boxes you can press on, Mike?
Nobody got time for that.
Exactly.
Oh no, I literally for what's going on in my real life, I'm doing 50 plus hours, 7 days a week or 6 days a week, full shifts these next couple of weeks. So I'm just like, gotta beat it. So
Yeah, that's actually kind of missed that though, because they do have some fun Civil War facts there, and I think it's a trophy too.
You and your trophies.
Yeah.
Okay, and then even like kind of what the next level was on here. Okay, so then you go back to the hotel. That was a fun part. When you go back to Sedgwick, and now everything's been locked down. They shut down the hotel. They don't want you going in there because you find out that it's one of the other Mandelas.
Mhm.
That's the right word. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that was fun too, where you start seeing just random, like what we would consider real ghosts in our world, if you believe in that, and they see that, like, oh, they can't hurt you. They're not really there. Like that was cool. And wandering around the hotel and all of a sudden you see this Black Widow woman, let's say, with a Black Widow on her back and a knife, like walking around, who you find out is part of this like supernatural story.
Right,
Yeah.
because the reason you're seeing all the ghosts is because they're attracted to the mandalas because it's going to merge the worlds. That's why they're there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you do end up fighting the spider lady in like a big webbed like area of the hotel.
I liked everything with her a lot. Like I enjoyed how everything becoming all like, spidery with webs everywhere and a little spider. And then when you fight her in the end, she like grabs. I don't say she grabs, or she's trying to, like she'll grab like bodies, and you'll see bodies hanging around, and she's jumping on things to heal herself. Like it was another really creepy scene of this game.
Yeah,
I think
would say
that was the creepiest for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I kind of don't.
Scared of spiders.
I kind of don't like spiders, so
I like how
You
the
live in
entire
Puerto
time
Rico.
Winston is like they're describing the situation. All the other characters are hopping on the radio, like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of bodies hanging upside down. They're like, oh, I don't want to be a body hanging upside down. It's like, they seem to be drained of blood. I don't want to be drained of blood. This certainly
That
looks
part was
bad and
funny.
unsettling. I don't want to look bad and unsettling.
Emanuel, you live in Puerto Rico though. There's got to be spiders everywhere.
there's spiders everywhere, man. Like
Maybe that's why I scared them, huh?
I mean, there's not like deadly spiders or anything, but I still see videos of spiders from other places that are huge or that are terrifying, and I'm like, no.
Don't you guys have huntsman spiders down there?
I wouldn't know if I don't know, man.
See, I live next to like brown recluses and Black Widows, so I have to I look this shit up constantly because I'm like, is this gonna kill me? What is this? What are you? Are you gonna kill me? Am I gonna die?
Are you gonna kill me, spider? Tell me.
I got briefly better about not worrying about Black Widows so much, and then a guy that worked for my dad got bit on his finger by a Black Widow, and he didn't realize it, and his whole fucking his veins turned fucking red.
Oh,
and
damn.
his finger started going necrotic, and they were like, he went to the hospital, and they're like, yeah, we might have to amputate your hand. He was like, motherfucker, I didn't even realize I got bit by a spider.
Jesus.
Thankfully, they were able to save his whole hand, but I was just like, fuck me. As soon as I hear a story about that happening to a person that is so tangentially related to me. I'm just like, oh fuck, like I gotta kill every spider I see now. I hate spiders.
And there was the next Mandela is the one area of this game that was completely brand new or is not a real thing. Where you go to the Shandor Island that all of a sudden is now rising out of the Hudson River.
I like how they go there on a boat, a Ghostbusters boat called Ecto 6, like because they've got like 4 other like Ghostbuster like vehicles somewhere.
It was a fun level. Like it was longer, but it was still cool running around. I didn't like all the times I had to use the stupid slime thing to pull levers or move a bridge because I hate the slime tether. But other than that, it was really cool.
Yeah,
I actually enjoyed that. I was like kind of surprised that they were like, oh, we're gonna throw in some physics puzzles in here. It's like, okay, like sure, yeah, let's do it. It reminded me of I don't know if anyone's ever played Tiny and Big Grandpa's Leftovers.
Mm-hmm. No idea what you're talking about.
It's an indie game. It's like a super tiny like indie game that's just all physics puzzles, and it gave me that kind of vibe. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm totally cool with this. This is cool. I'm like building bridges and shit.
And I didn't enjoy it. I mean, I didn't mind the level. I didn't mind that you had to go rescue all the different like Ghostbusters because they all get most of them get captured. And I do like the whole like, have you found Venkman yet? We weren't really looking for him. Do we need to find him? Like I enjoyed that humor about not caring about Bill Murray's character because I can understand that.
Yeah,
I don't care about Bill Murray's character.
To get Venkman? Like there's a point where Winston's like, and we should probably rescue Venkman, and Egon's just like, I mean. If we come across him.
And then when you finish the level, Ray is like, wait, did you see that? You saw what?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I missed all the cool shit.
Yeah, he just wasn't there the whole time.
Yeah.
It's just like, tell me everything. And they're just like, shut up, Ray.
That was funny. I mean, the boss fight wasn't that great when you fight that giant slime monster thing. It was okay. I just didn't. I didn't really care for it. I was enjoying the story of the game, and I wasn't. That was one after the Black Widow boss fight, which was kind of fun. This one was kind of like, bleh, just get me to the end.
I'd say aesthetically it looked badass, but the actual like taking it down was kind of boring. Yeah.
And
I think the only bosses that were really good in this game were the Fisherman boss and the Spider Lady boss. I think that those are, for me, the most memorable ones, honestly. The other ones are kind of like,
Yeah, it kept making me think of, I kept thinking every time I fought a boss, I was like, I wonder if this is necessary for this game to exist. Like, I wonder if you have to do bosses in this scenario. And I was like, I think you do. I don't know if I don't know what the solution to that is. I don't know if it's like fix the bosses and make them a little bit more balanced, make them a little bit more fun, or just take the bosses out altogether. I don't know which of those would make the game better. There's an argument for both. Like having the bosses is definitely kind of part of the gameplay, but like I don't think anyone's playing Ghostbusters the video game because of the cool boss ghosts. They're playing it because of the Ghostbusters.
No. I highly agree with that.
Yeah.
So, I was curious the entire time of, oh man, if they just took out this fight, like would this still be a fun segment? Like if they replaced this boss fight with just a lot of ghosts, like a horde style situation where they're like, oh, we got to get to the boat and like 20 ghosts are chasing us and we can't stop and fight them all. We just got to get to the boat.
That'd been more fun, I think.
Yeah, I think that would have worked for a couple of the sections. Be like, we're just going to get rid of this boss fight. It's just, you're being overwhelmed.
And I love boss fights in game, but that was one of them I didn't care for.
I think that they just had too many boss fights. Like maybe just leave, like I said, the Fisherman, the Stay Puft, the Spider Lady, and maybe the last boss, and that I think that those would have been enough.
Are you telling me that Zoot Fly and River Hill Soft and Terminal Reality and Redfly Studio aren't known for their boss fights?
Oh boy.
The 7 different companies that made this game.
I do want to say that the last level was pretty fucking cool, though. When you go to Central Park, after all the Mandelas have finally opened up, and you realize, because after you ruin their plan on the island, they're like, you know what? We'll just use all the ghosts you've been capturing for the last, 6-7 years.
Right, because Walter Peck is possessed.
I like how they set that up, too. They set that up in the very beginning. They wrote this game like a movie, and it works so well. Rarely in a game do you see a kind of Chekhov's gun scenario set up so well like that. Like, usually Like you'll be playing like an Assassin's Creed game, and there'll be a character that's like, "I'm gonna help you off right in the beginning." It's like, all right, you're the bad guy. I know you're the bad guy because that's the trope in this game. But you don't really see that movie trope of like the very beginning of this game. There's an issue with like Slimer gets out because Slimer is obsessed with their new containment unit, and he accidentally like hits a switch and he lets one of the ghosts out, and it causes a whole bunch of chaos. At the very end of the game, they're like, oh shit, they hit the containment unit and blew it up, and it's the same scenario from the beginning of the game, but it's way worse. It's like, yeah, that's how a movie operates, and I love that in a game where they base it off that logic.
Right.
It's perfect for this. It's just okay, yeah. Everything that happens in that first level, it's just that first section. That's just like setting everything up, and the very last level is paying it all off. It's perfect.
Yeah, and using whatchamacallit, what's his name? Bill Murray's brother as the mayor, Mayor Mulligan. He ends up being the true culprit and the one possessed by Shandor. Yeah.
That's great. I was like genuinely not expecting that. And it's funny, it makes sense for like I love that they're like, oh, like you tried to like use Gozer and become a god, and you tried to use Vigo the Carpathian. And they're like, wait a second. If you tried to use those the first time, why aren't you using them again? He's like, because they keep failing me. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep.
It totally makes sense.
Shandor was involved in the second one?
So Gozer was the hot French lady in the first one.
Yeah, Zool.
Yeah. And Vigo the Carpathian was the bad guy in the second one. They're all like everything the slime has to do with this. That's why you have the black slime. And then in the first one, Gozer was like Shandor worshipped Gozer, but Gozer sucked. So Shandor kind of took over and became a god somehow. That's what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just like these like it's something that doesn't really happen in games. Like I like all three Mass Effect games, even the third one. I like them all. And in those games, you have characters that are like the big bad characters, like, oh, I'm just going to use this, and then I like get rid of this group that like kind of like screwed up. Like I don't care about them anymore. It's rarely you see a game where like a character that's been in the series for so long ends up being the big bad guy, and is like, yes, I've been pulling the strings from like behind the scenes the whole time, but everyone kept fucking up, and so I eventually just had to take over for myself.
And again, the Thanos thing. Fine, I'll do it myself.
It's not even like Thanos, because Thanos is like, okay, yeah, you know he's the big bad, and he's like, but he's not like it'd be like if in Harry Potter, if like Quirrell from the first Harry Potter movie was like, Voldemort keeps fucking up, so I'm just gonna kill Harry myself, and he ended up being the bad guy of the seventh movie. It's like Quirrell comes back and he's like, everyone keeps fucking up killing this kid. I don't see what's so hard about it. I'm just gonna take over and do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's funny. It makes sense. It's perfect Ghostbusters writing, and I think that's what happens in the script too for the third movie. I think, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Get the basically that guy.
Shandor just comes back as Satan, basically.
I like to imagine when they were writing the scripts for these movies, like Harold Ramis came in and wrote the script and just went to Dan Aykroyd and was like, I need something crazy, and just let Dan Aykroyd talk for 5 minutes. Like, all right, there you go. That's the bad guy. And Gozer takes over Sigourney Weaver's body and possesses her, and he's the gatekeeper, but you need the keymaster. I was like, perfect. Thanks, Dan. Got it.
And also, like the girl that you were chasing after, that's been like in every single part. She's in the museum. I don't know if we mentioned this or not. Like, you find out she's related to Chandler.
Mm-hmm.
She's Chandler. Chandler. Adlam Chandler.
And he's trying to sacrifice her because he needs a blood sacrifice of his lineage in order to come back or something. Okay.
Yeah, mm-hmm. She's his like granddaughter or something.
Yeah, an ancestor.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
And like even that final fight when you go to he takes on the Destructor form, which I can't even remember what it looked like now, and you go to the Ghost World again. Like even that was kind of fun. What the hell did he look like? All of a sudden I forgot.
Looked like a statue out of God of War or something.
Yeah, it's a weird like. That's exactly what it is. It's a God of War fight all of a sudden, where you fight him in the center of Central Park in this like gazebo type thing. And then that becomes like his mausoleum. It's actually a really cool. It's a Silent Hill transition to this hell realm all of a sudden. You gotta fight him a second time, and it's like, what the fuck? Okay, sure, let's do it. We're going for it. It's Devil May Cry all of a sudden, and I am totally on board.
But it did wrap up, in my opinion, it wrapped up the story kind of well. Like, it made sense that this is where it's going.
Yeah, he actually, right before Shander dies, he says, "But I'm a god," and Egon says, "We eat gods for breakfast."
I love it in typical Ghostbusters fashion too. Like afterwards, Ray is like, "We eat gods for breakfast." He's like, "Was it too much?" He's like, "No, I think it worked. I think it's fine." I love when they find Peck hanging up with Alyssa, because Peck gets possessed, Alyssa gets possessed, and they both get like kidnapped. And you find them both hanging up by chains, like one on top of each other. And Venkman's still like for a brief moment, he's like, there's Peck the bastard. And it's like, he's hanging up by chains, Peter. Obviously, it's not him. And he's like, maybe he put himself up there. He's so obsessed with Peck being the bad guy. I love it.
I love how they hate him so much, though.
I mean, he's easy to hate.
It's just,
I like how he gets the rookie. He's like, "Get him down, rookie," and he just uses his proton pack to just shoot him down from the
fucking falls like 20 feet onto the hard concrete.
Yeah.
That
was funny.
Immediately, he's like, "I'm shutting you down." It's like, dude, they just saved your life. And I get that they're assholes, but like, that's kind of their thing. They're the best superheroes ever. They're the best worst superheroes.
Yep.
And then the ending of this, like, sets up the upcoming movie more than anything else. It feels like, where during the credits they're like 5 is just too many Ghostbusters. Hey, rookie, how would you like to open up your own Ghostbusters in a different city?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be funny if, like, Afterlife, Paul Rudd's character was actually the rookie from this game or something. Like,
Ghostbusters International.
Back to it.
Yeah, it could fit the time frame kind of. I heard some people saying that Paul Rudd's character was Sigourney Weaver's kid.
I've heard a lot of theories. Yeah, like he's
growing up,
kid. He's Venkman's kid, but Venkman's kid is one of the I think the girl 11. Is that who it is? Is the chick who plays 11 in Stranger Things? Or am I just conflating every teenage actress?
Millie Bobby Brown is her name.
Yeah.
Is that who is in it?
No,
it's
the other one that's in Stranger Things that I forget.
Finn Wolfhard is in it because
Finn Wolfhard.
I mean, Doug, all credit to that kid. He is fucking working his ass off. And I'm hoping he doesn't have like the whole like child star thing and burn out, because he's actually a really good actor. It's the girl. The chick in it is the girl who played the young daughter in Haunting of Hill House, who did a really good job. She's also a really good child actress. She's like 13, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then you got Paul Rudd and Carrie Coon in there. I don't know. I'm excited for it. It looks like it's kind of going back to, this is more of like a comedy set in a, I don't know. Do we want to even like talk about the 2016 movie at all?
No, I haven't seen it, so I'd rather just skip it.
Everybody knows it's bad. Everyone, and it was like a poorly marketed movie where it became like a kind of political thing, and it's like, that wasn't the point. It's bad because they kind of turned into like a cartoon, and it missed the point of Ghostbusters pretty drastically.
Yeah,
it's not.
It was a hollow piece of shit. That's what it was.
It was a hollow piece of shit. Yeah.
It's not bad because it's women. It's bad because the script is bad. The jokes are bad.
Oh God, yeah.
Literally everything is bad. It's not that like it's women. Okay.
There's like fart jokes in it. And it's like there's like a burp joke in Ghostbusters, but that's done with pretty quickly. And they're like, the rest of the jokes are just this group of people that is, I just whacked my mic. That's gonna sound fucking great. Sorry, everybody. It's just this group of people that's like really funny together. It's lightning in a bottle where you have to get people with like the utmost chemistry, which I was really disappointed by, because I like all the actresses in the 2016 Ghostbusters. I think they're all really, really funny women. They're all great whenever they're on like Saturday Night Live together. I think they're all fantastically talented actresses, but just something about like the chemistry was kind of off.
Yeah.
And this new one looks like it has that classic chemistry in there, which I'm super excited by.
There's actually a Variety, I think it's a Variety article with an interview of Bill Murray, and he says it's going to work. He actually believes in the script, so that makes me happy for the movie. He also made the journalist wear a proton pack for an hour on the set. He's like, funny. See how heavy it is.
That's
Put it
really
on.
funny.
That sounds like something he would do too.
I don't know. Like everybody's on board with it. Whereas in the 2016 one, only Dan Aykroyd was on board with it. So
Yeah.
like if the crazy guy is the only one who believes in what you're doing, then I don't know, maybe be like, hey, we should probably change this. But yeah, I mean, like Ernie Hudson's in on it, Bill Murray's in on it. I think all the kids look like they would have really good chemistry together as actors. I'm super excited for it, and I would be interested to know how, because the game is canon, I guess now, right? Like,
Yeah.
the game is officially canon, so I'm curious to see how it all fits together. It'd be great to if like the rookie was one of their grandfathers or one of their dads or something.
Have they
Yeah,
said that?
I think what they're alluding to is that the kids are the grandchildren of Egon. Is what
Yeah,
All of them are
that's
the
what I
grandkids of Egon.
that's kind of what I got from the trailer.
There's two like siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the theory that I've heard where they're Egon's kids, which I think it's one of those things where I think it is fitting because they're more sciencey. So like they take after Egon and his like completely obsessed science brain. But like you understand what that means we have to accept, right? Like if they're Egon's grandkid,
That
Then-
Egon.
then Egon had sex.
He got
I mean-
it on.
That is more believable than Palpatine. I mean, oops, sorry. Never mind.
Oh God, no.
We're just keep going.
But
I
like
think it's
I
time.
don't know. I think it'll be fine. But like I think what makes Egon so funny is that he's so obsessed with science that he doesn't understand anything else that's happening around him, to the point that he's in like mortal peril and he's like, oh, this is an interesting fact. Like, look at this. This is blue ectoplasm.
Yeah.
And it's like a monster's trying to kill him and he's just like completely unaware.
He's in his own little world.
Yeah. So the idea that he had sex is will be interesting to see how they if they just gloss over that. If they're just like, oh, your grandfather was so into science. I remember when we had you and he didn't even notice it. You had grandkids. It'll be interesting. I think they'll do it justice because all three of them are involved, and this is like Harold Ramis's kind of brainchild. So I'm cautiously excited.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same here.
same.
Mhm.
I feel like the 2016 one, they were like, all right, we're gonna make a movie, and with this one, they're like, okay, we're gonna try to like live up to Harold Ramis's name. Just like the tone I'm getting from it is completely different.
Oh,
I-
great.
I hope they do.
You guys ready to move on to some questions, comments, memories?
Sure. Yeah, you said you had a lot for this one, didn't you?
I have a decent amount actually, so I'm gonna try to read some of them quicker.
How many?
Um,
How many of them are just about the movies?
I'm not sure, but some definitely. All right, first I'm going to read one from Nicholas Mason. He said, I was there for the midnight release in Louisville, Texas, where they brought the fully restored original Ecto-1 for the event.
Oh,
So, yes,
what? That's
movie.
awesome. That's so fucking cool.
This is from a Ghostbusters Worldwide group, actually, is what I'm reading these from. And another one from Joe Edwards. When it was originally released, my eldest son was entering this world. I sent my dad from the hospital to get me the game, and when we came home 2 days later, I played it in between feeds, naps, and changes.
That's awesome.
That's
really
a good
sweet.
time, because it comes to a point you ain't going to have any time, so
Yeah.
not a bad
Yeah.
idea.
That's a really sweet memory to have to this game, though.
Yeah. So if anyone doesn't know too, I live in Arizona and we have the Arizona Ghostbusters. We have the Arizona Ghostbusters here. And like I swear at least like once a year I'll just be driving somewhere and all of a sudden the Ecto-1 will just fly right by me.
See, we need to switch areas, Stefan, because I shit you not, there is a person in Virginia Beach. I don't know who they are. I don't know anything about this person. I just see their car constantly. Somebody in Virginia Beach drives a straight up Umbrella Corps, like fully modded Jeep that has all of this like intense survival shit all over it. Like it's got like roll cages. It's like built up. It looks like it has plating on the side of it. They have that, and they have a like official company car with actual like lights on the top of it and like floodlights on the front. It looks awesome. And I see pictures of it online all the time. I'm like, I see that car constantly driving around Virginia Beach, and I don't know who this fucking person is.
That's awesome.
I need to find them. So I every now and then I see their car like in a parking lot. I'm like I might just wait here for an hour. I've waited in a parking lot for like half an hour, and I'm like, at some point, am I just like, what point is this going from me like really wanting to say hi and I really appreciate your car to I am just stalking this person now.
It didn't take too long, I don't think. From the sound of it, where this is going.
I haven't seen it personally, but I do know that someone here in Puerto Rico has an Ecto one that they bring to conventions and stuff. So
That's the one thing I wish I did in New York when we went that I didn't go. I might go back to New York just to do this. When we were there, we didn't go by and see the Ghostbusters Firehouse, and I really wish I did.
That is literally the
going
only
to
reason
someday.
I'm going to New York. Yep.
We just didn't have time, and I was like, oh man, like it was such. I looked it up, and it was like so out of the way. I'm like, I don't want to get in like a cab and like make people like I don't want to make my friend get in a cab and like go across the city for like 40 minutes to take a picture of this firehouse because it's so out of the way of anything else we want to do.
Yeah.
is that place? Is there anything in that place?
No, so actually, fun fact for everybody.
Yep. I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah. Fun fact for everybody: the inside of the firehouse was shot in. I think it was shot in L.A.
Yep.
The outside of the firehouse was just the front-facing wall of the firehouse in New York City. So whenever you see like Ghostbusters HQ from the outside, it's a series of composite shots they did for the movie, where the firehouse is in the shot, that's in New York, and then like the street is a composited image of a set in LA that they added in. So you can go by, and on the inside, it's just I think it was shut down recently, but for a long time, it was just a functional fire station.
They still have it. They reopened it. It's
They
there.
did reopen it as a fire station?
Yeah, but they closed down where Louis Tully gets attacked by one of the dogs, the Fiddler's Green or whatever it is.
that's shut
That
down.
place closed down. Yeah.
Yeah, that shut down a while ago.
Central Park.
Yeah, we didn't go to Central Park either, but I was like, well, it's closed. There's no point. I don't have to go take a picture of where the place was that was in the movie. Like just a picture of me next to a tree, and it's like, and it's in this spot where a building once stood. Where, not Harold Ramis. What the fuck was? God damn, what was the name of the actor who stopped acting? I can't think of his fucking name now.
Rick Moranis?
Yeah, where Rick Moranis was attacked by a ghost dog.
All right, I'm gonna read some more now.
Greatly missed.
Nick Confer. I still have my shoebox, polo, and license plate from the manager's box with the collector's edition of this game. I don't get this question, but maybe you guys will. From Joshua Lawton. What about the Twinkie?
Oh yeah.
That's a big Twinkie.
Okay, reference to the game or something?
The movie.
No, it's
the
the
movie.
movie
Yeah,
when
okay.
Egon is explaining to Winston the whole paranormal thing, and
Yeah,
The
been
Winston
psycho,
says that's a big Twinkie.
yeah, it's the psychokinetic energy that's building up in this city.
Okay. From Anthony Rongo, the first Ghostbusters game to truly give you a Ghostbusters experience. Not
Yep.
wrong.
Yeah, absolutely is. You're completely right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this one from Donald Hayes said, I waited at GameStop for the midnight release and played it all night. Didn't get very far in the game that night. To be honest, I spent most of the time walking around the firehouse. It was nice to look at all the detail that you couldn't see by just watching the movie.
Yeah. I love that Janine is taking phone calls the entire time, too.
It is funny, too.
Ghostbusters.
They told me I couldn't get off work. I told them if the city is under attack, I should get off work. And you know what? I went to go talk to Dr. Egon, and he wrote it into my contract with pencil that I couldn't take off work in the event of an apocalypse. I know.
All right,
I'll go
I got
talk to
one
him
more.
tomorrow. All right, bye.
One more from the Ghostbuster group that I'll read a couple from Overblood. From Dave Warner Jr. said, I pre-ordered through GameStop so I could get the slime figurine, Ghostbusters t-shirt, etc. They offered for pre-orders. Then when I went to arrive, pick up a few months later on release day, they didn't have any of the pre-order goodies like they said.
Wow.
That's 'cause
Oh.
GameStop, that's shitty. That sucks. Like, that's not a good memory.
That's the song.
That's
That's
fraud.
stupid. I'm usually not that guy, but I think in that case I'd be like, okay, well, I obviously want my money back then
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
because I did buy something and you're not. I hate when I understand like they have like a limited supply. That's like a whole marketing strategy to like sell more than you have to fake demand. But that's a really shitty practice, and companies should stop doing that. Especially airlines. Fuck you, airlines. But
I gotta get on an airline soon. Speaking of airlines, but okay,
I've got to
From
get an
Sebastian-
airline.
gotta get on an airline. I'm not buying an airline.
Yeah.
Okay,
Stay tuned for the Games My Mom Found airline. We are
Nice.
really diversifying our portfolios here.
Oh man.
All right, this one from Sebastian Gomez said, if you could make a new Ghostbusters game, what kind of gameplay would you want? I would just want this.
Yeah, I think this.
Yeah, just this. I think
I don't know.
with less bosses.
maybe-
Yeah.
Wasn't it Sebastian Games, Mike?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, Sebastian.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. You said it was Gomez.
It is Gomez.
Okay.
I'm sure it's games. I don't know. I think I would want this, but I would be interested to see like if this is asking a lot, but and nobody fucking does this. But it'd be interesting to see like demos for different styles of games. Like I don't know what a first person Ghostbusters would look like. I like that this is third person. I like seeing the proton pack. I like seeing the suit. I like seeing all the flashing lights on it. The thing, it looks dangerous. Like the best part about the proton packs is that they look like they're going to explode at any point.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy seeing that. It'd be interesting to see other styles of gameplay, but I think this kind of nailed it.
Yeah,
I
agree.
You know what I think? I was kind of thinking, kind of take the Luigi's Mansion inspiration.
I was gonna say that,
and like instead of going to different levels or different places, just one concentrated level with full exploration where you can just go wherever you want in that I don't know, hotel or mansion or whatever the place is, a haunted castle or something. You find different ghosts and like Luigi's Mansion, just try or Luigi's Mansion / Resident Evil style where you find keys or something to open up different places. I don't know, something like that, maybe.
I think I want to say they made this when the 2016 movie came out as like a marketing thing. And someone will have to correct me on this because I'm not gonna look it up because I don't even know how I'd go about looking it up. But does anyone remember that like has anyone ever been to an arcade, like a real arcade, and seen those like firefighter games where you have like what I'm talking about? You have like the hose that you have to control. Yeah. I have always wanted a Ghostbusters game in the style of that arcade machine.
There actually is one. They have a couple down here at the like pizza places. Like it's called Peter Piper, but they have some there. It's like it's like one of those ones where you sit in it and it has like the roof over it and everything, and you're kind of like
But you actually like control like the proton pack.
Yep,
that's cool. Yeah, I've always wanted to play something like that. We never had we have like the only thing close to an arcade out here is we have a Dave & Buster's, but Dave & Buster's is always kind of like generic arcade games. Not to shit on Dave & Buster's, but like you're not gonna get the like obscure weird arcade games that kind of not to be a hipster, but that to me is like the spirit of an arcade is having those like weird games that one person plays. They just like is really good at.
That's a really good business model there, huh?
It's a terrible business model, and it's why arcades failed. But it's like my favorite part of going to conventions is playing like these really obscure arcade cabinets that like aren't didn't particularly sell well, and their whole premise is kind of weird. Like I fucking rock at pinball. I play the shit out of pinball. When we went to 2DCon, I played like a James Bond themed pinball game for probably 3 hours each day trying to get the high score, and I got pretty fucking close. I got really close. So I like those like obscure arcade cabinets. I wish we had arcade out here that kind of still caters to that. The closest I could get is like going to like a CC's Pizza, and those aren't really obscure so much as they are 20 years old, and like everyone kind of forgot about Cabela hunting in the back. Or like that one golf game that has the fucking ball for some reason.
I know what you're talking about. We had one of those at one of my jobs.
It's in every CC's Pizza across the nation.
All right, I got a couple more things to read. Yes.
Before you continue, I know that it's not part of the question that Sebastian asked,
sure.
But earlier when I was watching the movies, I think that it's because the goddamn Ghostbusters theme song kept popping up. My brother came up to me and he was like, "Are you watching a series or something? I keep hearing Ghostbusters over and over during the day." And it made me think that it could be an interesting idea to have a Ghostbusters like live action series on Netflix or something, like them dealing with a Monster of the Week type of thing.
Yeah, it's not out of the question to have.
It could be cool.
I don't know. I feel like if Afterlife does well, that would make a lot of sense for them to do. Because they've got, like, say Afterlife does really well, and they don't need to bring back, like, Paul Rudd or the mom. Just have, like, a kids Ghostbusters show. That'd be, I feel like that would be really interesting. I feel like there's a good resurgence of I mean, there's always like a resurgence of like 80s and 90s style going on, but like I just watched John Mulaney's special with the John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Bunch, which is like, it's like stylistically, it's not even a parody. It's just stylistically a throwback to like old variety shows. I feel like there is a market for that kind of thing to be like, hey, we're going to make this like we're going to take this old movie and we're going to turn it into like a Monster of the Week show. It'd be great.
Well, to actually answer to that, Sony was developing a Ghostbusters TV show, but it was going to take place in 35, like way in the future.
Christ. That's too much. That's too much going on.
And everyone was like, no, we don't want that. And then they just stopped it.
Ghostbusters does not. Yeah, that wouldn't work for Ghostbusters. That's like how they ended like the Evil Dead series as a joke, but it would still work for that series because thematically that series is such a over the top joke the entire time. But like Ghostbusters, kind of what makes Ghostbusters so good is that it is so grounded despite all these ghosts existing.
Yeah.
You gotta have that, like, you gotta have it take place like either modern times or recent past. Gotta ground that technology.
I got 3 more to read. One from Jerry Klein said this game is better than it has any right to be.
Yeah. Absolutely.
2 comments from Michael Hughes. One said, I'm not the only one who stopped to destroy the entire bar mitzvah room, right? No, you're not.
Apparently you and Mike just hate bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, what do you got against bar mitzvahs, man? What do you got?
Extreme jealousy.
I can make a joke, but
Never got a bar mitzvah growing up.
Watch yourself, Mike.
I was extremely jealous of. I had a friend who was Jewish, and I was extremely jealous that he got a bar mitzvah. And so long he spent telling me, he was like, "Why?" And I was like, "I don't know. You just like you get to like this own special party." And he's like, "It's not what it like. It's not like a crazy party." I'm like, "It just sounds so cool to me." Like that you get this like special party. And then I went to it and I was just like, oh, it's just like old people. Like it's just a birthday party with more old people there.
Exactly.
In my mind, it was like the Jewish version of like a quinceanera where it was like, we're going to bring in the entire family.
No.
And it's going to be crazy.
Oh, baby. No.
Oh, baby, no. As a kid, I always wanted a bar mitzvah and a quinceanera, but as a pasty white kid from Virginia, sadly, it was not accessible to me.
It's in your stew.
Could I please have a quinceanera this year? I know I'm 26, but I feel I'm owed.
All right. The other thing from Michael Hughes is said, I gotta say, once s'mores into the breach might be my favorite trophy name ever.
Oh yeah.
And the last comment I'm gonna read from Dominic Chichoki, previous guest of the show. I know I butchered his last name. Said, "What is a couple of things he says? What is the relevancy of Ghostbusters today? Why does it matter so much to people? And why is it the same nostalgic canon as Star Wars and Indiana Jones?" Anybody want to take that? I'll give you 3 minutes. I know it could
I'll
go
let
a
you
lot
guys
longer.
answer it. 3 minutes is a bank. So read the question again so that I can mentally prepare.
This is too much work. He said, "What is the relevancy of Ghostbusters today? Why does it matter so much to people? Why is it the same nostalgic canon as Star Wars and Indiana Jones?"
I would say the relevancy of it today is it's kind of like the prototypical example of like an ensemble cast comedy. Like if you want to do a good comedy with a group of characters, Ghostbusters is kind of what you're going for. You've got all your different characters working together. You got like everyone has their specific skill, which is pretty different. Like Venkman's kind of like the talker. Ray is like the optimistic, he's like a physicist, right? Ray?
I think so.
And Egon's like you're all together. Like he is pure science. Like he is like the science builder. And then you have Winston, who's like the everyman who kind of like brings them back to reality. And like he also becomes like the paranormal researcher. He becomes kind of like not the leader of the group, but he's what allows the group to exist in the real life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say it's like the prototypical comedy of kind of what you need to do. If you want to have a comedy with like a number of people, you need to base it off Ghostbusters. Not saying have those characters exactly, but have that like understand that those dynamics because they work so well together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I agree.
That's a good answer. All right, I think it's time to move on to Shelf or Box.
Just pulled all that out of my ass. I have no idea if any of that sounded good.
like in Family Feud. Good answer. Good answer.
All right, Emanuel, since you're your special
is
guest.
it on the board and it's like the 2 paragraphs written out of what I just said and the whole thing was on the survey board? It's just like, okay, sure. It's just, yeah, you guys are ding, and it's like a fucking it keeps folding out onto the stage.
Okay, Emanuel, how about you? Shelf or box?
This was a really, really, really good game. For a licensed game, I mean. Like, I know that we've gotten a lot of good licensed games now over the years. Like I mentioned earlier, Batman, Arkham Asylum, and others. This was really more so than any other like licensed game, I want to say, because this one feels like it is actually a part of the universe where it takes all of its inspiration and continuation from. I really like this game, like more so than the first time that I played it. Like I said, I was probably my biggest gripe the first time that I played it was that original character, that I was so against the idea of that. But this time I actually managed to enjoy it more so. It's not without its flaws, obviously. Like I stated before, it has maybe too many boss battles, and maybe it's not the idea of having too many boss battles. Maybe it's the idea that they are so repetitive at times, of just having to do the exact same thing over and over again. But busting ghosts makes me feel good. It's just a really fun game, especially when you have it on casual, because you don't die. But yeah, I really like this game, and this is gonna be the first shelf that I give in this show.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah, I hadn't shelved anything. Like
you mean you didn't show the holiday special? Man, I can't believe that.
This is the first good game we brought you on for.
Shut up, Mike. No, I boxed Killer 7, I boxed the holiday special, and I boxed Legacy of Goku 2. So yeah, this is the first shelf that I give.
Wow. I'm surprised about Killer 7. I thought everyone was gonna like that one.
No,
I think
you got to remember, one of us doesn't like horror games at all. That's currently on this episode, and it isn't me.
Yeah, even if it is you, though.
I like horror games more than you do.
I mean, I like this game, and you guys keep saying that this is kind of a horror game. So
hey, so when's that Resident Evil playthrough gonna happen?
Mike, what about you? How shelf or box, Mike?
Okay, I'll go next. This is going on this shelf.
Don't worry,
I really had
back
fun
at Mike by making him play the entire Stalker franchise. So don't worry.
I really enjoyed this game. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Like when we first put it on the show, I was like, okay, I beat this back in 2010 or 2011. I had great feelings for it. I'm like, okay, I'll play it again. I forgot almost everything of this game. Like when I went through it, it was almost a brand new experience. I remembered nothing, and I had a decent time. Like I played through it very quickly, as I said earlier, just because I'm so busy. So I'm like very conscious of my time because I'm editing. I got games I'm trying to play. I got work, so I'm just like very concentrated. But I did enjoy what I played. I'm really glad that I took the time out and had this on the show to finally play through it again. So going on the shelf, and I'm glad we picked it. How about you, Stu?
Well, obviously, I'm just straight off, I'm going to say this game is going on my shelf. Absolutely going on my shelf. I like to echo Emanuel. It had some weak moments. The boss battles were certainly the weakest part of the game. But for me, just the absolute highs of the rest of the game were so high that I was just like, I was having fun the entire time. Like I even say, like, sometimes when I'm playing the games, I'll hop on Skype calls with other people and like talk to them while I'm playing the game and kind of like just do other things. And this game, I like Sam and Christian, who were previous guests, were like, "Hey, talk to us while you're playing this game." I was like, "No, I'm invested. I want to this is a good one. I'm going to be 100% in tune to what's going on right now." And so I just had so much fun jumping back. It felt like jumping into a new Ghostbusters movie. I'm almost glad I didn't play it 10 years ago, because I don't know if I would have appreciated it so much 10 years ago as I did playing it now. Just going back in and like the classic Ghostbusters writing is in there. The lines are all hilarious. Just the character interaction between like actual Bill Murray and actual Hale Ramis talking to each other it's just so nostalgic in the best ways. And like the level design was great. The horror aspects of it were great. It was a pure Ghostbusters game through and through. I just had so much fun. So it's absolutely going on my shelf. I cannot say enough great things about how much fun I had playing this.
By the way, it's something that we did not mention, the soundtrack, the music, which I think that they use very well, using like a lot of the old tracks, not only the Ghostbusters theme, but also the the main menu theme. I forget which. I just
like the atmospheric music from the original movies. They just put back in.
Also, when in the, I think that's in the cemetery, the last part, if you stand in front of Winston when he's riding the Ecto-1, he starts like, goddammit, honking, but it's the wah, wah. So it's,
that's great.
It's such a great sound design as well. Like, really amazing.
It would have been so easy to overuse the Ghostbusters theme because it's so iconic.
Yeah.
And you only hear it really twice in this game. At the very beginning with like the opening credits and at the very end with the closing credits. And it's the perfect bookend. There's like, this is the beginning of the story. This is the end of the story. You have just experienced Ghostbusters. It's perfect.
Yeah.
If the boss battles were a little bit better, if they had just cleaned them up, this would be one of my favorite games of all time. That's like the only thing holding it back.
Oh, wow.
It's right, a lot of fun playing this. Like, genuinely laughed out loud. That's kind of rare.
I agree.
How about you, Stefan? I think I know the answer. But...
You're about to say, how about you, Stuart, again?
No, this time I purposely picked Stefan to go last, and he said I picked him the last couple times. So I purposely let you go last.
People die every day, right?
I was like walking around yesterday and thinking of that line and just randomly laughing because of how funny it was to me. That shit does not happen. I don't play games and laugh out loud because of them and then think about the game the next day and laugh about them.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, it is obvious this is going on my shelf. First off, this was like the thing that every Ghostbusters fan ever wanted. A true trilogy, a true sequel, and we got it. We finally got it. Like, holy fuck. And not only that, but we finally got to have Harold Ramis give us another performance before he passed away. Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, obviously. But this is going to sound weird. Ghostbusters to me has always been like a heartwarming way to understand the supernatural in Dan Aykroyd's weird, crazy mind.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, but like it I've always loved Ghostbusters, and I think even on my dying bed, I'll think of the movies and the times I shared with like my family, and obviously playing in front of the TV as a little kid with my proton pack on. So this game was like everything I wanted, and it's going on my shelf. So I've been slimed for life.
Oh my god. I love how we didn't even talk about how Venkman like has been pursuing the doctor the entire time, and then she gets slimed by Slimer at the very end of the game, and that's all it takes for him to be completely disinterested in her forever. He just walks away from her. Like,
he's a complete asshole.
Oh, he's awful. He's a terrible human being.
I mean, that's not okay.
But it's Bill Murray, so he's got that weird charm where like Bill Murray, I think, is one of the few actors that could like play like Hitler or Stalin and make them like weirdly likable. He's just got that much charm.
He's like the Jojo Rabbit guy. I forget his name.
He's like Yeah. He's just got that perfect, like unadulterated charm that just radiates off him, where he could play the worst people on the planet, but you're still like, I love you. You're still Bill Murray. You're still great.
All right. I think I should introduce what lovely game we're going to be playing next week, because this was my pick, and I'm very excited for it. We are going to be playing Metal Gear Solid next week.
Yeah.
Metal Gear.
The first actual, like, 3D Metal Gear we played.
Yeah, we played 2 top-down ones, and after playing Metal Gear 2 and then playing Metal Gear Solid, God, I'm catching so many references. So stay tuned next week a 3-hour podcast because
Oh,
that's probably gonna happen.
Yeah, that's gonna be a
Yeah.
fucking long one.
I foretold that a couple months ago.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That it
So-
would be
Wouldn't
long.
it be funny if that episode was
Calling
only
it
like
now.
half an hour long? Like it just started, we're like, the game's great, and Shelfer Box, let's go. All right, let's do it.
Yeah,
It's like our only review is like, game's good, play it.
we've done this for 56 regular episodes. Yeah, that's never gonna happen.
My favorite part is next week, inevitably, Mike's gonna be like, I don't think this one's gonna be so long. It's gonna be like a 6-hour episode.
I won't let it be that long.
I'm a little worried. I was a little worried about Resident Evil because I knew that one was gonna be long, but I didn't know it was going to be. Was it Resident Evil like 3 hours or something?
Yeah,
Oh my
Yeah.
god, there's so many times we were during that recording where I had to leave and go do something important somewhere else and come back because there's like 3 hours. It's like Jesus Christ.
We had 3 people who are in love with the Resident Evil series and Mike. So it's just like, it's like how they torture terrorists in Guantanamo. It's just like you just have the 3 of us in a room and be like, oh, and then Wesker said this and then he did that and it was so cool, and they're just like, I'll talk.
All right, I got two things. Well, I got 2 things I want to say after I give the quick shout out to Balby, aka Mike Stoney, for his awesome intro and outro we have on our show from the Cool Kid Squad from his EP Bite the Bullet. You'll see a link to his YouTube channel at the bottom of the show notes of this episode. 2 things that I want to say.
Hey, good answer. Good answer.
All right, one thing I want to say is first I want to thank the Lord and Savior for not shaking Puerto Rico so we can have Manuel on the show
Oh
tonight.
god, yeah. It's just like
Thank
this
you.
is like a
Thank
week
you.
of all the worst things happening to
And the
everybody.
joke is I'm kind of an atheist, so that's also part of the joke. But I am thankful that because I had made a joke. I'm like, Emmanuel's going to be on the show if Puerto Rico doesn't shake too much, and nobody commented on my joke. I'm like, oh, was that kind of bad? 'Cause I feel terrible for what's happening. Like I don't think it's funny. It's funny to me that like Emmanuel had made a comment and Google had translated. And I know Emmanuel didn't mean to say this, but the translation said the idiots are coming to fuck in the morning. I'm like, okay, Emmanuel, okay.
Some weird Puerto Rican phrase I don't know.
And I sent him the screenshot, and another previous guest of the show was just laughing his ass off too because he saw the same thing, and I'm just like, oh. But I am glad that you were safe, Manuel, and that the earthquakes have finally stopped.
They haven't stopped, but
That's okay.
it's not. We're starting to, trying to get used to it because
That's
the thing is that now it was the south flakes that were starting to tremble, and now it's the north ones, and now we're like we actually shared a meme yesterday. It's in Spanish, sorry, but it's like a tag team. It's like a tag team, a wrestling meme because it's like it says like the south plagues are like tag teaming the north plagues so that they can do a finisher on us or something like that. I don't know.
That's sad and funny at the same time.
I mean, okay, here's the deal. We Puerto Ricans, we suffer a lot, but we also like to make everything a joke as well to try to make it true, Like
I
hell,
like
on January 31st, people were in some of the towns, people were throwing fireworks and shit and treating it like it was a New Year's Eve again.
I had the funniest selfish thought earlier this week where I was like, because I had just got screwed with crunch. Like I said, I worked so fucking much this beginning of this week, and I was like, man, I really hope the earthquakes in Puerto Rico stop and Emanuel can be on the podcast, because if I can't be on the podcast, I can't come on the I can't skip the episode with the reason of like, oh yeah, like sorry, one of our guests isn't here because there's a earthquake and he might die, and the other one's a little tired. I was like, fuck, like you just ruined my excuse if I can't make it.
The other one's a little tired.
I was a little tired. Can't come on.
Damn earthquakes, ruining my tiredness.
This is like shit.
Okay, that was funny.
God. I'll get you next time, earthquakes. Next time.
By the way,
all right, and the last thing,
6 years of Spanish in fucking school, the only thing I use it for is to laugh at shit Emanuel posts on Facebook. That's the only reason for it. I've said that multiple times, but every time I like something that you post on Facebook, I'm like, that was 6 years wasted. All that education, totally down the
Or
toilet.
gained, me.
So like
Hashtag
this
meme
meme
life,
about
boy.
the Puerto Rican mayor. That's all it is.
Oh boy.
all right. last thing we're going to say before I wrap up is kind of a congratulations to me in a sense. I have recently given up pop, and I'm 32 days or so pop free, which is this coming from a guy who drank 1 to 2 liters of soda a day. For people who don't use the word pop, or if you're in Texas, Coke. I drank 2 liters of Mountain Dew Coke every day.
That is a lot of soda, Mike.
That is why I lost 4 pounds already.
You have to be careful because that's what I did. Like at some point I just stopped drinking soda altogether. It wasn't like a concerted effort. I was just like I started drinking like flavored water instead, and I just stuck with it randomly. I accidentally quit soda, and then I went back and I had a Coke the other day, and I was like, my heart's gonna explode.
I won't go near. I see it, and I'm like, oh, I miss you. Oh, I miss. And I feel like people who are hanging out outside Stefan's gas station.
Yeah, the crack.
And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. Stefan's got like all this goddamn shit happening at his gas station. Fucking Puerto Rico's about to shake into the sea. It's just like there is so much that happened this week where I was convinced it's like the podcast just isn't gonna happen. Like there's no way it's gonna happen this weekend.
Okay, it will. I will come on the show and talk by myself for something if I have to. So much going on.
It was really funny because like I thought that, and then like Sam on Facebook randomly was like, if they said the world was going to end at 10, then Mike would find a way to record an episode at 9 and publish it.
It's not wrong.
And I was like, yeah, that's accurate. I was like, I did not talk to him about that. It's just, that was really funny.
Yep.
It was funny. It wasn't wrong either.
All 3 of us get screwed this week, and it's just Mike. I know he'll still record the episode himself.
Oh, yeah. The show must go on. All right, but actually the show must end now. I have to go pick up my wife.
Oh boy!
I said I will be done at 9. Like I'll leave to go pick you up at 9. It's currently 9:20 where we're at.
Oh, okay.
I haven't left.
Well, I think I've got the perfect way to end this episode.
Yes.
Should we let the rookie drive the car? What's the response? All together.
No.
Nah.
Oh,
I'm lost.
I
All right.
forgot. I forgot that part.
Should we let the rookie drive the car? Nah.
Nah.
I forgot that part.
Well, that's it.
All right.
It's ruined.
That's everything for this week.
Hey.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Night.
Joke ruined.